So in the previous class, we were discussing about optical switching networks. We dealt with this in detail with respect to optical circuit switch networks, where the path is established before the call has been made. So there we have seen the different nodes having different functionalities. So for example, here the node P is acting like optical cross connector and node D is acting like a direct connector between the nodes. So how the connection has been established, that we have discussed already. The next comes optical packet switch networks, where it is acting like a label switching, and it is going to make use of the nodes which are configured as optical correlators at the receiver side, because it is based on the transmission of the packets. The whole message is broken down into the packets containing the header and the payload separated by the guard band. So these labels will be separated out, and based on that, your data will be sequentially arranged at the receiver side with the help of the optical correlators. If there is any mismatch, then the payload will be retransmitted to the next node or next switch on the path. Then in MPLS, it is an extension. MPLS and GMPLS are the extension of this optical packet switch networks. So for example, we have seen VPN over SDH, and how GMPLS is helping in label switched paths, LSPs. Then we've gone through the optical burst switching, which includes the Cat6 of both circuit and packet switching, and appears to be more faster than the both the techniques. So next comes the last part, optical network deployments. The figure shows here the basic structure of any optical network to be deployed. So mainly it consists of the modem having a set of multiplexer and demultiplexer, along with optical airdrop multiplexer OADMs, which consist of added channels and dropped channels. Then we'll be having the optical amplifier and the core ring. These triangles, it will shows the optical amplifiers. Means they are acting like a repeater, simply doing the re-amplification at the particular distance. They are separated by the fixed distance. So the central part of this deployment of optical network is this core ring. So you are observing here, no? The core ring is there. So this core ring is going to connect this multiplexers, multiplexer and demultiplexers, OADMs, optical amplifiers, along with the different types of networks. Like enterprise network is there here, along with the LAN. And here comes access network, which uh, satellite communication network and mobile phone communication network, which all the three are connected to the metropolitan area network, MAN. MAN is going to connect all these things, satellite, access network and mobile network. And this whole together, MAN is connected to the core ring. Okay, this is the brief structure of this any optical network to be deployed commercially. So the ranges of the different optical networks. In that, the first one we are going to look here is the long haul networks. So long haul networks are mainly corresponds to the ranges up to 200 or 600 kilometers. So here you can see the brief structural diagram of this long haul network, consisting of a transmitting and a receiving node. In between, we got true trapeziums, which will be used to indicate multiplexer and demultiplexers, followed by the amplifiers. Here, erbium doped fiber optical fiber amplifiers are used. So each triangle it will indicate EDFA, and then this circular structure it will indicate single mode optical fiber is used along with the 3R, third generation repeaters. Means there will be a 3R at any fixed interval at every 50 kilometer or 20 kilometers like that. So this is the normal structure of any long haul network, which is going to support up to 600 kilometers. So this could be used to connect several regional places in the nation, or national network you can say, or you can say it is also acting like a backbone or the core network, which is interconnecting other long haul network to extend the global interconnectivity between different nations or continents, you can say, different nations. Again, there are different types of long haul networks are there, LHNs, based on the ranges they are going to support. Like normal LHN is going to support from 600 to 1000 kilometers. For beyond 1000 up to 2000, it is known as extended long haul network, ELH. And beyond 2000 up to 4000 kilometers, it is coming under ultra long haul networks. Okay, so these are all about LHN. So this LHN, which is interconnecting different regions in the particular country, can be used for the global interconnectivity by using submerged cable system, as it is visible here. This submerged cable system consisting of two main parts here. One is a dry plant corresponding to both the transmitter and the receiver, which exists actually existing on the land, comprising of the landing station. Whereas the wet plant consisting of the cable that has been laid inside the ocean, that will exist inside the water. So this dry plant actually consisting of the landing station, consisting of these different parts. So here you can see the different wavelengths are multiplexed, and they are coupled to the transmitting optical fiber. Here the repeater will be there, that is coming under the wet plant. The branching unit and gain equalizer are the three main points which are coming are will exist in the ocean. WT, if you come back to dry plant inside a landing station, POP means terrestrial city point of presence, where all your local long haul networks or MANs or access networks are going to come here. NPE means network protection equipment. LTE means line terminal equipment. Line terminal equipment corresponds to all terminal call networks which are going to end here. Each terminal is going to end up with one equipment that is known as a line terminal equipment. PFE refers to power feed equipment that is going to provide the power supply to the landing station. That is a WT, wavelength terminal equipment, where different wavelengths will be grouped together and will be transmitted over the single or a bunch of optical fibers. So the same thing will exist on the plant of the receiver side, and these two corresponds to two different continents or two different nations which are separated by the wet plant or the ocean. Inside the ocean, we got the wet plant that mainly consisting of three main points: repeater, branching unit, and the gain equalizer. Branching unit concerned with diversion of any to landing station or to any dry plant like that. So like that, this one is known as a submerged or transoceanic optical fiber network, that is actually mainly used for a very long distance supporting to interconnect two different continents. So supporting from 3000 to 10,000 kilometer range. So therefore, the cable what you are going to lay inside the ocean should be of a better quality. Therefore, ultra long haul networks are used, which are prone to fiber attenuation or dispersion. And the repeaters, whatever they are using inside this wet plant, they are just doing the re-amplification. They are similar to our IR amplifiers. So the electrical power supply for these amplifiers, which are there inside the OCM or the wet plant, here the repeaters are there, which actually consist of amplifiers. They are getting the power requirement or power supply through the insulated cables. Okay. So this is the typical structure where you can see the optical fiber network interconnectivity among the major cities of this particular country. So this is a long haul network. So that you have seen here, this one. This one is going to extend your long haul network to the global connectivity with the help of submerged cable system. Next comes MAN, where it is going to connect different residential regions or business regions. So these networks are subject to specific requirements and traffic demands that are quite different from long haul or access networks. So MANs are divided into two segments, as you can see here, namely central ring, so this one. So as we are observing this typical MAN of a typical large city here, the city name is not given here. The central circular structure is there, that is known as a central ring, to which different metro access rings or neighboring rings are going to be connected. In the figure, it has been shown this central ring mainly consisting of around 8 nodes. So to each of these 8 nodes of the central ring, the neighboring rings will be connected. And each of the neighboring rings, their distance, location, along with how many channels it is supporting is given here. So the typical structure of the MAN is something like this. So the central ring, what we have said, observing here, mainly consisting of digital cross connect. At each node on the central ring will be having digital cross connect that is going to connect its neighboring networks or neighboring rings, which are known as a metro access rings. For example, so this metro access ring may be a long haul network in the form of ring 1, or maybe a ring 2 that may be access or enterprise network. So these two networks are connected to this central ring with the help of this digital cross connect. Okay, so this is how we can explain about this MAN. So then comes access networks, which are mainly the significant elements of this PSTN, public telecommunication switching network. That is a backbone of our country. It connects access nodes to either individual users or maybe residential or a business purpose. For example, here the end users are connected to the local exchange office. Then, with the help of the satellite communication, they will be connected to their respective destinations either through radio or satellite communication, or through a twisted pair copper cable, or through hybrid coaxial fiber, that is known as HFC, or directly through the optical fiber. Means these are the four different means by which the individual users could be connected by their respective local exchange offices, and their connectivity is coming under this access network. Okay, below MAN we got this or similar to MAN, this is another type of network that is known as access network, mainly concerned with the deployment of this optical network among the end users. Wireless access networks, they will offer the positive point, that is a mobility is better, like we are observing Wi-Fi, WiMAX. This approach offers an individual user with a bandwidth from 1.5 to 75 Mbps up to 50 kilometer distance supporting. So limitation is the bandwidth is there. So another thing, example for this access network is the cable TV what you are observing. So this one is one example that you have observed under access network that is used to provide the call communication among the end users, telecommunication. This is another example of the access network that is going to use the access network to provide the cable connection. Okay, so here the hub is there that is going to interconnect between the different sections of this cable TV network in the particular region. It is going to cover a particular region supporting from 5 to 50 kilometers. So this will be connected with hybrid cables consisting of both coaxial and optical. Sorry, it is consisting of only coaxial cable. So using trunk RF amplifier. Because this coaxial cable has been laid with the help of the trunk. Trunk is mainly used to connect between different, we can say, different streets or regions, you can say, in the particular area. So each line of this RF amplifier is going to support 500 to 2000 homes, because you might have seen that one particular home you will be having one RF amplifier. One line RF amplifier is going to support 500 to 2000 homes. So this is one typical application, or you can say example, where access networking is also used. So this is the second application of the access network. Next comes optical fiber access network typical structure here. So it mainly consisting of two sections here, feeder and a distribution section. As you can see in figure A, feeder section mainly consisting of local exchange office, where your the call origination requests are coming there and going to end up with the terminal equipments. Then it also consisting of RN, to which network interface units are connected. All network interface units are coming under distributor or distribution section. Each NIU is going to connect different types of devices which are going to support different protocols. So this is the typical structure of any access network, and figure B, it will indicate the how it could be deployed commercially. So yellow, it will indicate local exchange office, which will be connected to the network interface units or premises where the NIUs are deployed commercially. It could be fiber to fiber curb or fiber to fiber bank or fiber to fiber home connection. So normally these are the three types networks which have been briefly discussed here under optical network deployments. So if you get a question, explain briefly about optical network deployment for 4 to 5 months. Only this figure you have to draw and explain it briefly. And if we'll ask you particular with particular type of network like a long LHN or access network or a ban, then you have to explain it in detail. Now we'll stop here.